Brian Windhorst had a quote. Lakers actively looking for wing players in addition to centers. We all know they need a center. We all know, yesterday I spent a lot of time talking about Walker Kessler and what's it going to cost? Can they go find ways to get more assets to get Utah what they need and try to make a freaking deal for Walker Kessler? Or is Kessler going to just end up being one of those players like we've seen a lot? Walker or Miles Turner never became a Laker, but you always heard him in trade rumors. Buddy Hield never became a Laker, but you always heard him in trade rumors. There's certain players out there. Is Walker Kessler going down that same path? Here's what Brian Windhorst said yesterday. He said the Lakers aren't just looking for a center. So we obviously all know that the Lakers are desperate for a center. He said they're actively looking for wing players too. Look, you can be actively looking for whoever you want. Doesn't mean you will make a deal, but the Lakers are in conversations about trying to get wing players because they need wing defenders. This is, I think, the main point that he made here that I think you guys will agree with. The thing is, if they're committed to Austin Reeves and they're committed to Luka playing together, they got to have more defense than just the center. I would expect the Lakers to do something before the end of the week trade-wise. I don't know if it's going to be their center, but they're definitely messing around. So what is he saying? They need wing players. They need a center. We all know that, and they're actively looking for those two positions. I love what he said about Austin Reeves and Luka, because I think the Austin Reeves and Luka piece means if you two are going to be in the backcourt together, even a good center that can play defense, who the Lakers didn't have in the playoffs, even that's not enough to try to accommodate to the deficiencies on defense that the Lakers would have with Luka, and obviously with Luka and with Austin Reeves in the backcourt. Okay. See that from Brian Windhorst. Lakers going to be active, trying to get wings. And then we saw a story yesterday. I think it's a good tie here. Some of this chatter around Andrew Wiggins. The Miami Heat reportedly like Rui Hachimura and could also potentially push for Dalton Connect in a possible Andrew Wiggins trade per Anthony Irwin. LA NBA Central put this out. Let me just kind of blanket here before I give my opinion and my thoughts on it. Let's say Rui Hachimura went out. Let's say Dalton Connect went out. Maybe there's some other kind of small pieces here and there to make everything work, and you got to make the dollars work and everything else. Those pieces go out. You bring back Andrew Wiggins. Do you like it? Is Andrew Wiggins your answer from a wing perspective? Does that answer the question of what Brian Windhorst is talking about? Now, you still got to go out and figure out how you're going to go get your center. You're still going to have to go. I think there was a point yesterday, which is pretty damn funny. I got to be honest with you. Freaking Laker fans, they lose it on X. I don't know if these were Laker fans. There was a point I think Clint Capella was trending. And I couldn't figure out if Clint Capella was trending because Laker fans were like, we're going to freaking end up with Clint Capella. That's going to be our summer. Or it was Laker haters that were like, they're going to end up with Clint Capella and that's going to be their summer. But I'd love your guys' opinion and thoughts on what you think of a move like this happen. My initial reaction, this is what I would tell you. You don't have that many assets. So if your assets are gone, Rui, Dalton Connect, I think you got to, to make the money work, you're going to use another asset or two. Is Miami asking also for a draft pick? I saw some stuff where Anthony Irwin had mentioned that Lakers would not want to trade, their 2031 or 2032 first rounder. Maybe they would include their number 55th pick tonight if they were going to go make a deal. Here's my issue. I like Wiggins. I think Wiggins actually would be a good fit on the Lakers. He's a champion. He's 30 years old, been in the league for a while, but not too old. Understands how to play the game, has been on championship rosters, has been on deep playoff runs, has been coached by Eric Spoelstra, has been coached by Steve Kerr. He's been around the NBA. My problem is, if you gave up these assets, how are you getting your big? How are you getting your center? Then that makes me think that, all right, well, maybe Clint Capella is going to be the player that they end up with. I guess the question is what are you valuing more? Are you valuing trying to use your assets for a center, or are you valuing trying to use your assets for a wing? Because yes, you need both. But where should you be spending your priorities on? Should your priorities be on a wing, or should your priorities be on a center? Even if you try to get both, there's going to need to be a little bit more action that goes one way or the other as far as your assets go. As I sit here today, I think they're so desperate for a center that a center would be my biggest priority before a wing. Now, if you're able to, but we could piece together, if we get the right wing, we can piece together a center because we got, again, I'm throwing out names. Clint Capella came in for the 5.7. They drafted a center as well. They brought back Jackson Hayes. I'm making up stuff, right? I'm talking out of my you-know-what, that if they feel like they could piece together the right pieces for a center. Don't forget this too. Rui Hachimura has been pretty decent for the Lakers. I mean, I think Rui's had some impact for the Lakers. I think he's done a good enough job to at least make a case why he should be on this roster coming up to next season. But it's going to be the price of doing business. I'm not keeping Rui if it's holding me back from getting the center I need. I'm not keeping Rui if it's holding me back from getting the wing that I need. The only issue that I have here is last night when I'm prepping for the show, this morning when I'm getting ready for the show, I see a lot of attention going more towards wing players, a lot of attention more going towards that type of player when it's so obvious and clear how desperate the Lakers are for a center. If you're using most of your assets for one of those positions, you got a real decision to make. Are most of those assets going to go towards a wing, or are most of those center assets going to go towards a center? I really, really want the Lakers to do everything they possibly can to make sure that a center is accommodated, that by the time we get to training camp next year, by the time you get to August 1st and all the dust is settled and you're waiting for Luka to make his decision on, obviously what he's going to do for his future, I really, really hope that the Lakers have addressed the center position before they've addressed anything else. All right, let me take a look at a couple comments here. Sammy's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes as well. Let's take a look here. Wiggins trade has nothing to do with Lakers winning. Wiggins is coming to LeBron, so LeBron can place his faults on him. It's okay. All right. I don't know if that's where the Lakers are. That's the reason for the Lakers trade. Okay. I thought Wiggins was around 30. I looked it up this morning, 30. So he's still in, as far as age goes, that's not a terrible position to be in. LeBron, Wiggins, Luka, this new big three. I know about that. And by the way, this is something that you got to understand here with the whole big three thing and everything else. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.